and welcome back to another episode of Last Minute Laura. My name is Laura, and today we're going to be doing another natural dye experiment. I've collected these sumac berries from plants around my parents' farm and from around the property that we're living on. These red, fuzzy cones have a bit of a sticky feeling to them, not much of a smell, and a beautiful bright red color. That being said, I don't think we're going to be getting any red from these berries. These berries, the red part is just the little fibery furs around it. Think like a peach, how they have those tiny little hairs all over them. These are berries covered in those tiny little hairs. I'm hoping to get some brilliant brown or beautiful caramel color from these, but as per usual, I'm going to be happy with whatever color we get. So to get started, you're going to need some sumac, just like this. I'm going to add all of this into a big pot full of water, and I'm going to bring it up to a simmer. So let's do that first. I'm starting with my heat on max just to get the temperature up, and then I'm going to turn it down to a low medium to maintain a very gentle simmer with these berries. And there we go. Next, I'm going to prepare my wool. So to do that, I've tied them up in their skeins with lots of little ties all the way around so that they don't get tangled. And I'm going to add them to a pot filled with water, and there's a little bit of dish soap in there as well. I'm going to turn that pot onto medium, and I'm going to let that wool sit in there on medium for about half an hour. For today's project, I'm using Briggs & Little wool. I'm dyeing 2 skeins. The first one is going to be bleached white in their sport weight, and the second one is going to be bleached white in their regal weight. So a 1-ply yarn and a 2-ply yarn. I just want to see if there's any color difference based on the ply and the thickness of the wool. So that's all for our first step. We're going to leave all of this here for half an hour, and in half an hour I'll show you what it looks like. But for now, it's just going to sit on the stove. And this is what the sumac berries look like before anything's happened to them. This is how they look right off the tree. They're very densely packed and covered in this fine hair. Okay, so it has been about half an hour and our sumac has finally come up to a simmer. This is a big pot of water, so it took some time. And you can see there is a little bit of color starting to come into the water. It's looking a little bit murky, a little bit orangey. Let me grab a clear container. Just sort of a orangey color. It's got some time left to go though. I'm going to turn the temperature down to medium so that we don't get beyond this simmer. I'm going to put the lid back on. The wool too has heated up, not quite to a simmer, which is good. I'm not trying to get it to simmer, but you can see now the water has become a little bit cloudy, a little murky, and that is good. That means we're getting the oil out of that yarn. Basically, at this point, I'm going to rinse out this yarn and add it back to a pot full of water, and I'm going to mordant the wool next. For this project, I'm going to be using alum powder and cream of tartar as my mordants. I'm going to use about 1 tablespoon of alum and about a teaspoon of cream of tartar. I'm going to dissolve that in some water and then add it to the big pot of water, and then I'm going to add the wool back in. So that's the next step, and I'm going to do that now. Okay, and now the wool is just going to sit in here until it comes up to the lowest simmer you can imagine, and then I'm just going to hold it there at a very, very, very low simmer for almost an hour, and then the wool will be ready to dye. We're going to leave the sumac in this pot over here for that whole time too, and hopefully we'll get a little bit more color out of it before then. See you then! Alright, so it's been some good time now. The color has leached out quite a lot. The actual berry bulbs are much less bright. if you can see here. And the liquid itself is looking a pretty orange color. Let me just dip in here. It's like a pretty orange color. I'm thinking it's probably done. So what I'm going to do is leave it for a little while longer while I wash out the wool. The wool has been sitting in the alum cream of tartar mixture for the same amount of time, about an hour. So I'm going to wash out all of the mordant out of here, and then I'm going to strain out the sumac bits out of the dye bath, and then we're going to get started on actually dyeing the wool. All right, so here is my sumac dye bath. I'm just going to get my yarn, put that right in. Oh, that is a beautiful color. We're going to be doing a little bit of color modifying in a little while, but first I want to give this enough time to actually sit and absorb some of the sumac as it is. So I think that'll be a pretty basic gold, and then maybe even just a beige. It's very pale. But once we add some color modifiers, I think I'm going to add iron because I love iron as a mordant. If you want to know how to make iron as a mordant, check out the link down in the description below. I have just made a video recently on how to create your own mordant at home. But for now, I'm going to let it sit here on the stove probably for another hour just to see if we can get any of that color to go into the wool. Okay, so this has been sitting in here for about an hour. The water is still warm, but not quite hot, and we've got some color payoff. I know in the shot right now it's probably super blown out, but it does have a yellowy, a bit of an old gold, or like the color of hay. It's kind of the color of this yarn at this point. So I think I'm going to transfer this into some separate dye baths, and then I'm going to add some color modifiers now. I've decided I am going to do half of it undisturbed, just like this, and then the other half I'm going to do with some iron after bath. So let's do that. Okay, so like I said, I am going to do a little bit of iron water in one of them, which I'm hoping is going to give us a much darker color. Yes, it definitely is. So I'm going to add about 1 cup of my iron water solution. And to the other side, I'm going to add just a little bit more of my alum powder, just to maybe brighten it up a little bit. There we go. Now I'm going to add my yarn back in, and now we're going to let that sit overnight. I'm going to come back in the morning and see what color we get. So far though, I'm not hating any of it. Okay friends, good morning. It is the next day now, and I am just going to wash out the sumac yarn. I decided last night to hang it up. I thought the yellow had gotten about as dark as it was going to get, and I wanted to give the darker iron part a little bit more time in the color. So that is why it's like this. I'm going to rinse this out now, and then I'm going to hang it up to dry, and I will let you see it after I get it all rinsed out. Okay, so at this point, they're looking pretty neutral. Neutral gray, neutral sort of soft yellow. Super pretty. Very cozy and calm. So I'm gonna let them sit here, just hanging. I'm gonna let them drip dry for the whole day, and I'll come back tomorrow morning when we've got a little bit of sun, and I will show you the final look with them all twisted up in their skeins, the overhead shot that we all love. So I'll see you then. All right, friends, it's time for the final reveal. So if you'll remember, we started with Briggs and Little. We did one in sport weight and one in regal weight. Both I used the bleached white, so this is the bleached white for your before. And look at the after! Oh my goodness, it's so pretty. It came out so earthy. It's like gray and purple and slightly green. The yellows that are in this sort of area, it's like a beige yellow green. I don't know, I've never really seen this color. It's almost like a muted citrine, if you could imagine, like a greenish yellow, but it's muted. So this is from the Sumac Berries themselves. The yellowish portion is where I mordanted with simply alum, and then this sort of gray, cementy, brownish, purpley, there's even some spots that have a bluish tinge to them, and that part is from where I did an iron after bath. So I dipped the half of the skein into the iron water mixed with the dye bath for about 6 hours after I had finished the actual dye bath with the sumac. So if we just look at the sport weight first, you can see even the yellow part definitely got some serious color payoff when compared to the original white, but that dark gray, it's just really cozy. It reminds me of like the ashes in a fire. Like there's some coals left over, some wood bits left over, and like smoky gray. I don't know, I really love this color. I don't know what I'm gonna call this colorway. What do you think? Let me know down below what you think I should name this, and by the time you see this video, I may already have it on the shop. So check out www.lastminutelaura.ca if you're interested in purchasing either of these two skeins, the 1-ply sport weight or the 2-ply regal weight. The 2-ply one shows up a little bit more light. The gray, it's still beautiful, but this one you might be able to tell in the camera, it's got almost a bluish to it, whereas this one, it has like a muted green gray. This one to me has more of the edge of a pond, sort of a swampy vibe. I really love it, like clay with some baby plants coming up through it. I do love both of them though. I don't know what they would make, but they are definitely a unique colorway, yellowish green and gray green with some lively colors. It's beautiful in natural light as well. It lights up in a way that I can't even describe. You have to see it to believe it. So if you do like either of these skeins, check out the shop, www.lastminutelaura.ca, and they will be up there along with all of my other hand-dyed yarns that I make on these videos. But that's all for today, friends. I really hope you liked the video. If you did, give it a like down below. Give it a like on the video. It's great for my channel, and it's a free way for you to help support me. If you want to know other ways to support me, you can subscribe to the channel. You can go on lastminutelaura.ca and either purchase yarn or buy into the membership part of the site. Basically, whatever you can do to support is always appreciated, and there are new videos coming out every single day. So check back tomorrow for some more content from me, Last Minute Laura. And thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!